Hey cool people, I'm Nick, I'm a he, him, and you read the title. So, boot up your game, put your headphones on, get a little drinky drink, and get ready for 52 more facts about Kingdom Hearts, and this time, for you to game to. While you're setting up, I'll do a quick spiel. This video is for people who like fun facts, but hate YouTube shorts, so instead of watching YouTube shorts, you can just watch all my facts here instead. It's better. It's better. One convenient big video, basically. It's also for people who, they want to watch my shorts, but 106 is, too daunting to start at, so you can catch up with this video instead. And the previous one. Card somewhere. Also like the video, subscribe. Thanks. I think people are ready now, so what did the doctor say to the fun fact? Time for you to get checked. Do you know how to navigate Monstro? Monstro's insides make no sense, so here's where to go to find the first boss fight. From Geppetto's boat, we'll run off the plank and go into the Chamber 1 entrance. We'll walk forward, and after the cutscene, we'll jump onto this higher portion on our left, then enter into Chamber 2. We'll then fall, and if we hustle to the far end of this narrow area, we'll find Chamber 3. Let's run to our forward left, which loops us back around to the upper portion of Chamber 2. When we land, we'll run past all the barrels and into the next sphincter, which leads us to Chamber 5. Let's run past the 2 boxes in the large body and enter into Chamber 6. Once there, we'll jump onto the ledge on our right, then run forward into the hole, returning us to Chamber 5, but the upper portion this time. Then we'll run past all the barrels and go into Chamber 4. After the cutscenes, if we jump up there, we can run into the bowels to fight Parasite Cage. Here's 2 additional facts, right? Someone said the green, when the bowel, the sphincter glows green, that's the door you're supposed to go through, and that also Green Requiem will spawn above it. So there's 2 additional facts for you. Do you know which worlds you can skip in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix? In the first group of worlds, Traverse Town, Wonderland, Olympus Coliseum, and Deep Jungle, you can only skip Olympus Coliseum. While Traverse Town first visit is mandatory for Donald and Goofy to join the party, Wonderland, Deep Jungle, and Traverse Town's second visit are mandatory for Nava Gummy Pieces, which allow you to go to new locations. While Olympus Coliseum can be totally bypassed. In the second group of worlds, Monstro, Atlantica, and Halloween Town, only 2 of the 3 worlds are necessary. Once 2 of the worlds are finished, the little planetoid icon for Neverland will appear. However, I recall hearing that in this case, there's only a 70% chance to land in Neverland, and while I can't confirm that number, I can confirm flying past Neverland, even though the planetoid icon was on my map. Do you know how to grab the dolphin in Atlantica? In Kingdom Hearts 1, after Ariel takes us to her grotto, we can swim out, this Ursula cutscene will play, and then the dolphin appears. What we'll need to do is defeat the Heartless in front of Ariel's grotto, wait for the dolphin to swim to us, and then grab on with Triangle. We'll ride it over to the entrance to the undersea cave and let go with Circle. Then, we'll swim through the undersea cave into the calm depths. We'll see a vertical geyser that takes us up to the undersea valley. Once up there, we're going to swim to our left towards the big wall hole. If Heartless appear, we'll swim into that hole, entering the Tranquil Grotto. Then, swim back out, forward, left, and down to this little wall bump. If Heartless don't spawn, just swim to the bump. We'll wait here for the dolphin, grab on again, and it'll lead us to the sunken ship. And as a bonus tip, once we get the Crystal Triton, we'll swim out the hole the shark made, then go to our right into this tunnel. Now we'll hit this floor geyser, swim into it, and dislodge a chest, unlocking a forever shortcut to sunken ship. So, with that one, an additional fact that I might go over later, I don't remember if I ever made it a short. Did you know you could glitch the dolphin in Atlantica? After J Loves Wicked pointed this out, I just had to look up what they were talking about. So, I went to speedrun.com and looked up 100% Jiminy's Journal Run. This footage being from Miss Master 1, link in the description. So, apparently, right after this cutscene of Ariel saying to go to her grotto, we can swim up and over this protrusion, then grab the dolphin as soon as it spawns in. And if we let go just this fast, we'll clip through the wall, allowing us to swim below the room, then open the shortcut to the sunken ship early, without ever having to go through the undersea valley or the rapids. So there you go. Yeah, I did make that short. Do you know about the infamous Red Trinity in Halloween Town? In the PlayStation 2 original, it was here on this shed in Ogi's Manor. There was no glitch then, however, once the manor was destroyed, it would be inaccessible for the rest of the game, preventing the player from 100%ing Jiminy's Journal. In the 1.5 or Final Mix version, they fixed that by putting it on the archway below the manor. Interestingly, it is still tied to the shed. If you get the Trinity while the manor is standing, the shed will disappear like it would have in the PlayStation 2 version. But this Trinity is infamous because it's glitched. Once the manor is destroyed, there are 2 enemy spawns in the ruins. Spawn 1, which is the standard enemies, and Spawn 2, which is the Final Mix exclusive Chimera. After defeating the Chimera, we get the prompt to activate the Trinity, but on Spawn 1, we can't activate the Trinity even out of combat. And once we do collect it, the Trinity mark itself will still appear during Spawn 1. Do you know how to get 100 hits on the rare truffles in Kingdom Hearts 1? Firstly, they spawn in 4 locations: Monstrous Throat, Halloween Town Bridge, Neverland Ship Deck, and the Olympus Coliseum. They used to spawn in the End of the World as well, but that's only in the PlayStation 2 original. Monstrous Throat is the worst place because it's very easy to bonk the Heartless into a pink gland above and ruin the juggle. It appears in the Hercules Cup, Seed 6, and Hades Cup, Seed 46 in the Coliseum. Either is fine for practicing an EXP, but we won't get any rewards since there's no drops in the Olympus Coliseum Cups. Neverland Ship Deck is okay, but we can easily fly into the sails, and if we reach the room ceiling, the hit rhythm changes, making it very easy to accidentally drop the Heartless. I think Halloween Town Bridge is the best because it's consistent. If we go right here by the Golden Gate, there is a slope, which keeps the rare truffle floating longer, and if we use a longer keyblade like Pumpkinhead, it allows us more time if we mess up. But the how is jump, flick right, hit, and repeat 100 times. Aroga could work, but I don't find it to be very consistent at all. Did you know Lock, Shock, and Barrel drop different EXP based on the order we beat them? What really matters is who we beat last. If we beat Lock the Devil last, we get 180 EXP from him, but only 12 EXP from Shock the Witch, and 24 EXP from Barrel the Skeleton. If we beat Shock last, we get 120 EXP from her, and then 18 and 24 from Lock and Barrel. Then finally, if we beat Barrel last, we get 240 EXP, then 18 and 12 from Lock and Shock. But after rescuing Kairi, their EXP changes. Lock now drops 600 EXP when beaten last, whereas Shock and Barrel drop 40 and 80 EXP respectively. We get 400 for beating Shock last, and 60 and 80 from Lock and Barrel respectively, and 800 for beating Barrel last, while Lock and Shock drop 60 and 40 EXP. So either way, we get the most experience points if we beat Barrel last. Did you know you can break the Tigger minigame? So somehow I broke the block Tigger minigame at Rabbit's house in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix for the PlayStation 4. How is it broken? Well, the timer never started counting down and I can't get it to. How did I break it? Well, I like to jump to block Tigger because if he's blocked in the air, we get 3 points instead of 1, but I also think this is the reason the timer isn't working properly. I tried to see if anyone else encountered this glitch online, but I didn't find anything. I tried fixing it by leaving, pausing, and even letting Tigger squish all the carrots twice, but I was soft locked. So the last thing I could think of was maxing out the block counter to 999 points to see if maybe that would do something. But it just ticks over to 1,000, so in the end I had to just soft reset in order to keep playing the game. Did you know you could beat Oogie Boogie in approximately 12 seconds? If you're playing Kingdom Hearts Final Mix on Proud Mode, there's an ability called Zero EXP, which prevents us from gaining experience points to level up. Now, a benefit of Zero EXP is damage storage, where if you do a combo, then your next hit, and only your next hit, gets double damage. But if your next hit is magic, damage storage doesn't go away, meaning every magic attack you do has double damage until you melee. So if we go to the Oogie boss fight, defeat the Gargoyle Heartless, and then step on the floor light to reach Oogie, do a full combo to him, then summon Genie, we can obliterate Oogie's HP in 12 seconds. Did you know you can glitch Captain Hook? Firstly, some people might not know we can leave through the cabin hallway door. Secondly, Hook responds to different magic. If we hit him with thunder, he'll absorb it with his sword, leaving himself open for attacks. And apparently we can jump and cast thunder, which initiates the animation, but if we land before the thunder strikes, it will cancel the spell and we lose no MP. But Hook will still do his absorption animation. This is called Thunderlock. So I told you these things to show you this. In a video posted by Dango Bango, link in the description, Dango uses these tactics to get infinite EXP. By using the Thunderlock to drop Hook's HP to 1 hit, they then run to the cabin hallway door and wait. When Hook gets near, they cast Stop, hit him once, then run through the door, receiving Captain Hook's EXP points. However, when they return to the deck, Hook is alive again with full HP, allowing for a repeated collection of his 3,400 experience points. Did you know there are 12 hidden items in Neverland? Once we seal the keyhole in Neverland, we can return to the clock tower to find a peculiar light on one of the windows. If we examine it, we'll receive a time and an item. Turns out we can get an item every in-game hour corresponding to the blue clock in the bottom left corner of the pause menu, and each hour has an item to collect. Hour 1 gives us an Orichalcum, Hour 2 is a power-up. Hour 3 releases a Mithril Shard, Hour 4 holds another power-up. Hour 5 drops an AP up, Hour 6 contains a Mithril, Hour 7 unlocks a second AP up, Hour 8 unleashes a defense up, at Hour 9 we grab another Orichalcum, at Hour 10 we receive a defense up, at Hour 11 we get a Mithril Shard, and at Hour 12 we find a Mega Elixir. After 12 in-game hours, the uncollected items will restart at Hour 1, meaning Hour 13 is the same as Hour 1, Hour 14 is the same as Hour 2, and Hour 24 is the same as Hour 12. That also means if we miss an hour, we do have to wait 12 in-game hours to get that item again. So, interestingly, I always have such a hard time explaining the clock tower thing. There's no additional fun fact here, but just like, if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, I just don't know how else to explain it. Did you know Hook's pirate ship moves? Something I didn't notice until recently is when we first encounter Hook's ship, we find it really early on if we fly there from Atlantica, or really late if we fly there from Halloween Town. Then, later on, if we fly back to Neverland, we'll see that the world is actually much further down on the gummy path than the ship was when we first encountered it, meaning Hook must have flew to Neverland while Sora and friends were aboard. Additionally, I just think this is neat, Hook's ship was designed to make physical sense and be interconnected like a real ship. So, Hook's ship might have been designed to be interconnected like a real ship, but a lot of the worlds weren't, at least not fully. Traverse Town is another one that looks like it was designed to make sense in a physical space until you consider the cavern, like, okay, so first district, alleyway, secret waterway, first district, third district, Merlin's house. How do they connect through a weird cavern floaty? It doesn't make sense, but whatever. Did you know that Alice and Wendy share a voice actor? British voice actor Catherine Beaumont voiced Alice in the Disney movie Alice in Wonderland and Wendy in the Disney movie Peter Pan, which came out in 1951 and 1953 respectively. But that's not the crazy part. What's absolutely nuts is at the age of 64, she came back to voice both Alice and Wendy in Kingdom Hearts 1 nearly 50 years later. And not only that, she did the voice of Kyrie's grandma in Birth by Sleep, and in the Disney Junior show Alice's Wonderland Bakery, she played the original Alice, technically reprising her role as Alice again, this time 72 years later at the age of 85. Like, the crazy part for me is that she can still do the voice, right? Like, can you do your child? Like, can you sound like you did as a child? I can't. Did you know these 5 weird facts about Olympus Coliseum? 1. I noticed while we were playing the Hades Cup that the braziers around the arena are off until we beat all the enemies, then they turn on. 2. The braziers during the daytime portion of the Hades Cup are unusual as only the pillars activate and not the surrounding walls. 3. I mentioned in another video that we can do repeated 2 hits to stealth sneak to stop it from turning visible. This prevents the issue where it can't be defeated for several seconds. Great for time trials. 4. You can stand outside of Hades' flame spin, but it depends on the initial angle he feels the heat from. 5. The Coliseum or Olympus has appeared in 10 out of the 12 Kingdom Hearts games so far, only not appearing in Dream Drop and Birth by Sleep 0.2. Did you know about the Hercules Infinite EXP glitch? This video was posted by TerraTF 5ish years ago on YouTube and Reddit, both linked in the description. What happens is, after Terra knocks Herc out of God mode, Herc then charges while Terra sliding dashes up, parries the charge, counterattacks, hits Herc, and lastly Ripple drives Herc away, defeating him. This perfect storm seems to stun-lock Hercules in a parryable animation that allows Terra to repeatedly hit and counterattack for 28 EXP indefinitely. No, seriously, when they stop after 7 minutes, the fight ends like normal. I tried to replicate this, but there's issues. Firstly, getting Hercules to charge is a nightmare. If I ever see this jerk spin again, I'll off myself. Secondly, when I have defeated him with Ripple Drive after parrying his charge, he didn't fly back and glitch out, he was just defeated regularly. And as far as I know, Terra isn't sure how this happened, and on both posts there's only speculation. But what do you think? Watch their video linked in the description and let me know. Okay, just to clear up something. When I'm referring to Terra in here, I am not calling Sora the character Terra, right? Like, I'm not referring to the character Sora as the character Terra. I'm referring to Terra TF, the original poster of the video, who I mentioned at the beginning, their video, because I'm using their footage. What's the fastest way to level up in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix? Initially, I thought it was bullying Rock Titan at 114 EXP per second, which is really good. But then Alexander Montesino 7876 commented their strategy of looping the Gizmo Shop, so I tested it out. At 6,720 EXP per loop with Encounter Plus ability on 45 Strength and 15 MP, I grinded for just 5 minutes and got 40,320 EXP, aka 124.8 EXP per second, nearly 10 EXP faster than bullying Rock Titan, and also we don't have to do the Hades Cup 3 times to access this level grind. An additional thing, first of all, if you've seen that video, you know I say Rock Titan's like 200 something. I didn't account for the menuing time, the loading times and the menuing times. So when you do account for that, it drops to 114, which still the highest of that video. But somebody else made another comment relatively recently. I'll post it on the screen somewhere. They found out a faster one that I believe is at 142 EXP per second. Where if you go from the green room to the red room with Encounter Plus on and just thunder spam, it's even faster. Did you know we can beat Cloud without getting hit? Hercules too. This works best in the Alone Just Sora version of the Hercules Cup, and it can be done once it's available. If we equip some elixirs in Sonic Blade beforehand, we can spam it on Cloud and later on Hercules, which will allow us to defeat them without ever getting hit, because Sonic Blade inflicts stun with each rave. With Cloud, I find it best to do it after blocking his Sonic Blade so that he's vulnerable, and when we do have him stun locked, we can completely bypass his desperation move, Omni Slash. At Hercules, after we toss a barrel at him, we'll then cast Sonic Blade after he attacks, allowing us to one-phase him, meaning he'll only go into God mode the one time at the start, derailing the fight entirely. Did you know about this speedrun strategy for Hades? On Rio Peace's 100% Jiminy's Journal Beginner Mode speedrun, Rio does this strategy I've never seen. First they use stop run air combos, then Ars Arcanum to push Hades into his red phase. During Hades' arm pillar attack, Rio lets Donald get knocked out so that he can't cast Blizzard during the strategy, but Rio keeps Goofy alive because his MP gift ability is what's going to keep Sora from running out of MP. After the arm pillars, Rio casts Stopra, does 4 air hits, and then repeats until Sora needs more MP. Rio then uses Omega Ether and continues until Sora runs out of MP again. Once Stopra wears off, Hades' HP starts to plummet, and at the yellow bar, Rio uses Ars Arcanum to bring Hades to his last hit, which Rio then delivers, defeating Hades in approximately 1 minute and 10 seconds. This video was posted by RPG Limit Break, link in the description for the full run. Did you know the Kingdom Hearts 3 worlds had a lot more guidelines than in previous titles? In games past, series creator Tetsuya Nomura would select a world, ask Disney for permission, get it approved, and be done. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, with more recent movies where the teams are still around, Nomura had to abide by their input and guidelines, stating it has actually been increasingly difficult to get approval from Disney because each team would have a different set of rules and guidelines. Then when asked which world had the most, Nomura replied with Frozen. It's possible that this more difficult approval process could be why Kingdom Hearts 3 took 5 years in development and why certain worlds' plots aren't as well designed when compared to the previous titles. Shout out to Regina Sparrow for providing the interview, linked in the description below. Have you seen the Hollow Bastion concept art? I found all this on KH Insider, link in the description. There's the image of Donald walking past Aurora and Snow White in the Grand Hall, and then another of Goofy reading the plaque of Snow White's containment pod. But there's more, like the room art, which the devs stayed shockingly faithful to. There's also concepts for freezing the bubbles too, in case you didn't know that you could do that. Do you know how Beast got to Hollow Bastion? In Kingdom Hearts 1, Beast says when his world fell, he simply believed hard enough and that's what brought him, but series director Tetsuya Nomura has more to say. In Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus, a Japanese exclusive bundle, Nomura explains world traversal in the second of the Director's Report 13. While explaining Corridors of Darkness, he states, beings of darkness and beings of between are able to create entries and exits. In rare cases, even other kinds of beings, such as Beast and Diz, who held strong sentiment or hatred in their hearts, have been able to open a path themselves. This means Beast held so much sentiment in his heart or hatred that his belief in finding Belle opened a corridor of darkness and he leapt through, arriving in Hollow Bastion in order to save Belle from Maleficent's evil grasp. Did you know there were 2 extra buttons in the Hollow Bastion waterway puzzle? On our first visit, there's this little button puzzle we have to do to open the castle gates, but as you can see here, and here, there are 2 extra unreachable buttons. That's right, they're unreachable because both are blocked by how the puzzle operates. The first one can't be reached because the button that opens the gate next to it also closes a closer second gate, completely blocking it from the player. As for the button in the back corner, the very first button operates the spinning wall that blocks it, and unfortunately there's no way to operate the first button once we're at the point where we'd be able to reach the one in the back corner. Let's go over the button and library puzzles. The button puzzle is pretty straightforward. We activate button 1 to reveal button 2, which reveals button 3, which reveals button 4, which allows us to access the bubble to reach the final button that opens up the big door in Castle Gates. On our way back though, we only need to activate button 3, then 2 in order to exit the waterway. As for the library puzzle, we'll first grab the book on the floor to our left, then put it on the north shelf, north being towards the staircase. Activate the green trinity at the top of the stairs, grab the book that falls, then grab the one on the desk. Replace the green book from the south shelf, then press the secret button to unlock the second floor door. Now drop down by where we entered and place the yellow book on the shelf, then go right and look south. Take the blue book and place the green book in the second open slot. Now turn around and put that blue book on the north shelf. Go left and south to find a secret book. Back upstairs, we'll place a book on the shelf east of the desk. Grab the green book, place it downstairs, grab the purple book, and place it upstairs. Did you know about the second secret Hollow Bastion chest? Once we get to High Tower in Hollow Bastion, we can jump off backwards from the lift entrance and glide our way to the big blocks in the center of the room, where we'll find a hidden doorway leading to lift stop. And in this section, we'll find a floating chest that we can cast gravity on in order to grab the Royal Crown accessory. And what it does is reduces fire, ice, and thunder damage by 20% while raising max MP and reducing strength. Did you know about the Maleficent speedrun? From Violin's beginner mode any percent speedrun, he glides up, hits, does a near full Ars Arcanum only excluding the finisher, then does repeated 3 air hits until the last bar, then he uses a final cast of Ars Arcanum to finish her off. As for Mistmaster 1's Proud Mode any percent speedrun, he glides up and does an air combo, then does 3 ground hits, next a near full Ars Arcanum, 2 more hits, another near full Ars Arcanum, uses an ether, does 2 hits, a third near full Ars Arcanum, and casts Arrow, assumedly in case he gets walloped by a defender. Then he uses an elixir, glides back up after being knocked off, casts 2 more near full Ars Arcanums, and finishes off with repeated 3 hits to defeat Maleficent. Assumedly, the reason they leave out finishers is because it would cause Maleficent to fly to the other side of the room, messing up the speed aspect of the speedrun. Also, the standard mode speedrun is the same as the Proud Mode strategy, and all speedruns used here are linked in the description. Do you know the best way to beat Dragon Maleficent on Proud Mode? First we'll stock Sora with Ethers, and then we'll equip Lady Luck, and any MP boosting accessories. Next turn on EXP 0 for Sora, and cheer for every party member who has it. Last we'll put the stop spell in our shortcut menu. When the fight starts, wait for Dragon Maleficent to roar. As she descends, we'll jump and cast Stop, then do a combo. Now immediately summon Genie, cast Stop again, and use Showtime once it's fully locked on. Now, alternate Stop and Showtime using Ethers as needed to defeat Dragon Maleficent in under 1 minute. Do you know how to skip huge parts of Hollow Bastion? The first is in Castle Gates. Fight the enemies ahead and summon Dumbo, then fly to the left of this arch, ascend, and then dismiss Dumbo at the top. Hold forward, grab the ledge, and flip up. Now we glide over to the far switch, which allows us to skip the enemies, the entrance hall, and the first lift stop. The second skip is in High Tower. I try to defeat the air enemies first, then I summon Dumbo and ascend to this high ledge. Now, dismiss him and hold left, and as long as we aren't hit, we'll flip forward and run to the lift stop that's connected to the castle chapel, skipping several rooms in the process. Do you know these 5 facts about Oathkeeper? Couldn't find it, but shout out to Sakura Lily who mentioned fact 1 in a comment long time ago. 1. The charm Kairi is working on in Day 2 of Destiny Islands is the lucky charm that she gives to Sora, and it becomes Oathkeeper. 2. Shocking no one, the name Oathkeeper is in reference to Sora's promise to return Kairi's lucky charm. 3. Oathkeeper was meant to represent Kairi, as Oblivion was meant to represent Riku. 4. Originally the token at the end of the chain was going to be a Paopu fruit. 5. The keyblade teeth form the kanji for light. People always comment about the keychain one, but it's not a Paopu. It's a star-shaped, like, seashell charm, right? What I'm trying to say there is that it was going to actually be a Paopu, not like mimic one. The best example I have is they reuse that idea in Chain of Memories when he looks at that charm. It is a Paopu because Naminé manipulates it to look like one. That's that they were going for a legit, like a literal Paopu, and then changed their minds. Did you know Sora has a birthday? In an interview with series creator Tetsuya Nomura, he states that Sora's birthday works just like Disney characters' birthdays, being that their birthdays are on the day that they debuted. Which means Sora's birthday was when Kingdom Hearts 1 was released, and when was that? Well, Kingdom Hearts 1 released in Japan on March 28, 2002, making Sora 22 years old as of 5 days prior to this video. Did you know about the alternate winning and losing cutscenes in the 100 Acre Wood? Pooh's Honey Hunt is the first, and the cutscenes are based off our score. From what I tested, 0 to 49 licks nets us the worst outcome, where Pooh says, "Oh bother, that didn't go too well." 50 to 99 licks gets us the decent outcome, where Pooh says, "That was yummy in my tummy, but there's room for a bit more." And then, this is factual, 100 licks and above will get us the best outcome, where Pooh is happily eating at the top of the honey tree. The other minigame with alternate cutscenes is Block Tigger, and from my testing, somewhere under 81 points but above 63, assumedly 0 to 74, nets us the worst outcome where Tigger prances and says, "How about those bounceroonies? They were good even for a Tigger." Assumedly 75 to 149 points gets us the decent outcome where Tigger says, "Say, you're pretty good there, Sora, especially for a non-Tigger. Let's have another go." And then, factually, 150 points or above, Tigger will get sad and blame his tail. So the reason I'm putting assumedly for the worst outcome and the middle outcome is because it's very difficult to tell. On the Pooh Bear one, I could probably try to figure it out. But on the Tigger one, I'd have to figure out the multiplication of it and then do it perfectly, and that's way harder. It's probably split into thirds like that, or I guess technically it's top number then divided in half but whatever. That's why I gave the actual factual numbers as well. I bet you don't know all these 100-acre wood facts. For Pooh's honey hunt, striking the bees overhead gets us 10 points, while an uppercut only gets us 5. If we block Tigger in the air, we get 3 points instead of 1. And for both aforementioned minigames, we can just leave mid-minigame, but this doesn't actually do anything at all useful. For Tigger's giant pot, we can break it in one swing if we're high enough in the air when we hit the nut. For Pooh's swing, if we press R1 too soon, he will fall into the stream. If we press R1 too late, he'll go flying, and at just the right time, he'll land on Eeyore's house. Speaking of Eeyore's house, after Pooh lands on it, Eeyore will rebuild in another room, and we can break it there, causing him to rebuild it somewhere else. And we can keep breaking it, and finding it again, rebuilt in new rooms. Have you seen the glitch in Pooh's Muddy Path? Basically, how we activate the glitch is, after Pooh crosses the log, we can stand above the second set of blue flowers and lock onto Pooh so he'll walk towards us. But we have to talk to Owl before Pooh reaches the flowers. After Owl is put in the brush, we spam the attack button, and during the next cutscene, Sora will be able to freely move around, allowing us to slide anywhere we want. I highly recommend watching the speedrun guide I learned it from, link to the video in the description. Did you know there are 8 enemy entries missing from the Kingdom Hearts 1 journal? Anti-Sora, the Neverland boss, does not show up. Neither does its lesser forms, the Shadow Soras, which appear in the cabins of Hook's ship until the player goes and defeats Anti-Sora. The Crank Tower in Wonderland doesn't appear in the journal either, while the playing cars in Queen of Hearts absolutely do. The Cape of Wonders head doesn't appear, and neither does Glut the Shark from Atlantica. The last 3 enemies are Chernobog, World of Chaos, the latter of which can't be included because KH1 is the only Kingdom Hearts game with no after-final boss save state, and by that same token, our final omitted entry, Bit Snipers, and some little buddies can't appear in the journal either. And I didn't even know these omissions until the KH Wiki pointed them out. Did you know about the blue flames in World Terminus? In End of the World, you'll find the World Terminuses, big pillars of flame sandwiched between 2 rocks. The most common color is purple flames, which are worlds infested by Heartless that Sora has sealed the keyhole of. But if the player happens to skip a world, they'll find a blue flame with no way to reach the next terminus. Blue flames denote a world infested by Heartless that Sora has not sealed the keyhole of, and the only way to proceed is to enter the blue flame and defeat all the Heartless present. There are 2 other types of flames as well. Green, which assumedly denotes a peaceful world, though only 100-acre wood has this color, and it will be green with a sealed keyhole or not. And last, the red flame, only Hollow Bastion has this color, but I'm not entirely sure what it means. Leave your guesses in the comments. Did you know Chernobog was the original final boss? You might have seen online someone say this. They'll show you this picture and quote supplementary material, and this piqued my interest, so I looked it up, and the only source I was able to find was TV tropes, saying that Chernobog's boss fight was a holdover from when he was meant to be the big bad. Quote, but due to system limitations and storyboard development, he was shafted. He was still too awesome to leave out, so he got an out-of-the-blue boss fight instead. Unfortunately, there is no source for their claim, so if you know any sources to corroborate this, feel free to put them in the comments below. So this was a bit of me trying to make sure, when people say these quotes, they know what they're from, because sometimes people will quote a thing and believe it's factual because they trust the source that they have, but if you go and check the source of your source, it turns out they just made it the fuck up. And even if they didn't make it the fuck up, they don't have a reliable source for that. The version I had heard, so, salt here, take your grain of salt, because I don't know where I heard it, was that Maleficent was going to be the big bad. And that's why all the villains were with her. All the princes were going to join Sora to defeat her. And maybe these 2 things both are true, and they just exist as what's the word for it? They just both got cut in different stages of development. Yeah, neither of which currently have a source that I can give you though. So, grain of salt. Do you know about these secret paths? In the first room of End of the World, there are multiple invisible paths. We all know the intended path is to follow the rocks, but if we look at this map on khguides.com, we can see there are alternate routes. We can go around from Rock 1 to Rock 3 by going left. And go from Rock 6 to Rock 10 also by going left. There's also this big middle section connected to Rock 10, but it seems to have no real purpose. Did you know about this collision glitch? In the room called Homecoming, after beating Ansem the first time, we can find this glitch above the Seaside Shack. However, it can only be accessed in the PlayStation 2 version of the game, at least the English one. So if you've only ever played the HD 1.5 version, then you've probably never seen it. and the glitch is this. If you jump just right onto the corner of the seaside shack's roof, you can land on an invisible floor and jump infinitely into the sky, going up as high as you like. This footage is from a Gamer Joints video, so if you want to check out a deeper explanation, click the link in the description to watch their whole video on the topic. Do you know the way to beat Ansem in 30 seconds? In Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix or the HD Remix, there is an ability on Premo called EXP0, and what it does is stop all EXP gain, but it also has another benefit. Damage storage, where Sora's next attack after a combo finisher has double damage, except, for some reason, magic keeps the double damage until Sora melees again. And we can use this loophole to defeat Ansem 1 and Ansem 4 very quickly. All we gotta do is combo them, summon Mushu, and hold triangle to win. The difference with Ansem 4 is that we do have to land first in order to summon Mushu, as long as Donald and Goofy aren't knocked out by Ansem's attacks. There was one comment on that video that you don't have to land in that like blue core area. There's a spot behind him you can land. And that's just, yeah, I actually did try to land there and then I fell and I was like, whatever. Because the super attack was happening. So I was like, I'm just doing it before they die. But yeah, there's plenty of spots you can land. The one that was just convenient for me was where the core was. This is the #1 mistake people make when fighting Black Fungus and how to fight them properly. This is the Black Fungus from Kingdom Hearts 1, and it appears in Agrabah's Bazaar, Halloween Town's Moonlight Hill, Hollow Bastion's Dungeon, some tournaments, and for the PlayStation 2, in End of the World's Linked Worlds Room. The best way to fight them for a quick win is to cast Gravity on them, but if you're after Mystery Goo or Mold, it's best to defeat them with a combo finisher, preferably air combos to avoid their poison. Note that critical strikes are irrelevant outside of the Japanese version. Now if they successfully poison anyone, they will turn to stone for 15-ish seconds unless we combo or stun them first. And lastly, the #1 mistake people make when fighting Black Fungus is engaging too early. We can send out our party to attack and the Black Fungi won't use their poison because they are docile until they get near Sora. I want to just debunk a couple things. Knockback is the only thing that matters in the 1.5 version. Critical strikes don't matter. And Mystery Mold is weird. It has like a 2% of a 20% chance. It's really bizarre. I don't fully get it. But yeah, that one's a tough item to get. And people have also quoted Trinity Limit and Simba. Doesn't really work for me, but I haven't super tested them, so they might work. But the critical hit of Trinity Limit isn't actually relevant, so just keep that in mind for the 1.5 version. Do you know what happens when the in-game clock goes over 99:59:59? In Kingdom Hearts 1, at least in the HD Final Mix version for PlayStation 4, at 100 hours the clock reverts to all zeros, turns green, and starts counting back up. At the 200-hour mark, the clock reverts to all zeros again, turns magenta, and begins counting back up. When we reach 300 hours, the clock becomes a red-orange coral color and starts again from 0. And at 400 hours, well, at 399 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, the clock just stops counting. Yes, I really did leave my PS4 on for 400 hours just to find this out. Did you know there's hidden Mickeys in Kingdom Hearts 1? These are just some of the ones I found, but there could be more. First, the obvious ones like the Dream Sword, Dream Rod, and Dream Shield, then of course on the Kingdom Key and the Kingdom Key D keychains, but also on Goofy's Night Shield too. As for in the worlds, there's one in Destiny Island's secret place on the right wall, there's one in the First District World exit door, and on the yellow book in the small house of Traverse Town. And I found 3 in Agrabah, 1 here in Main Street, here in the plaza, and these balls in the storage. Feel free to comment the ones you know of. Did you know some cutscenes are unskippable? In Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, the HD 1.5 remix, there are at least 3 unskippable cutscenes. The first is the AMV intro scene. This style intro is skippable in every other game, but for some reason not KH1. The second scene is when Belle and Beast are reunited in the library of Hollow Bastion. It's technically missable, and there's an alternate version if we come from the stairwell. The third scene is when Leon talks about how they'll never forget Sora and friends, X to Doubt. Technically you can't skip any text cutscene, but can in future games, and I saw online there's an issue where you can't skip cutscenes if the game isn't fully downloaded. One last thing before I forget, I couldn't find a reason online for why some scenes are unskippable. Feel free to give me your guess why that could be in the comments. And yes, back in the PlayStation 2 days, none of them were skippable. That is correct. Did you know there are 2 secret endings in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix? Another Side, Another Story came on the PS2 original and Final Mix versions of the game. For Final Mix, it is unlocked if, on normal mode, the player seals every keyhole and finds all 99 puppies, or on Proud mode, the player beats the game. The scene depicts a then nameless hooded character walking into a city known later to be Roxas in the world that never was, being surrounded by Neo shadows as Riku watches from a skyscraper. The hooded character asks, "Where's Sora?" Then text bombards the screen. Last, a girl is shown watching a meteor fall. The KH Wiki says it's Kyrie. The second secret ending, Another Side, Another Story Deep Dive, is only available in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, unlocked on normal mode if the player completes Jiminy's journal, or in proud mode if the player seals every keyhole and beats the Hades Cup. This ending expands on the first, showing unrelated scenes that hadn't happened in the series yet, and expands on the scene with the hooded person and Riku. My favorite comment from that is they literally say that at the beginning. So, let's see. Weird, cool, and useless facts about Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Selphie's jump rope spins when you beat her. If you fall off the island while fighting Riku, you lose and are teleported back onto the island, but in the PS2 version, you'd lose and have to climb back up. You can't enter the other side of Destiny Islands with or without the Keyblade at nighttime. In the PS4 version, you can't enter a room if you are dodge rolling. You can run to the top of the slope in the treehouse, jump from it, and reach the second floor. You can soft lock the game by jumping onto the item shop roof, then the accessory shop roof, and entering any other room on Sora's initial visit. We can also soft lock the game by being pushed onto the inaccessible area of the cliff during the Clayton fight and entering the waterfall caverns. Both of the previous facts are from Elbow Juice's video, so click the link in the description to learn more. During the Pot Centipede fight, Jasmine will call out for Aladdin and say help if Aladdin is in the active party, but she'll only say help if he isn't, shown to me by user in my Discord, Regina Sparrow. More weird facts about Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Sometimes in the Top Gummy Ship dialogue box, Sora's hair will get cut off because of the 16:9 aspect ratio. You can grab the Seaside Shack door frame. You can grab the underside of the highest set of planks during the giant Oogie Boogie fight, shown to me by user Virgin Ears in my Discord. If you don't step on a save point in Hook's ship, it will be inaccessible until the Phantom appears, from user Goofy, the Seeker of Boyle, in my Discord. There are at least 7 temporary save points: Awakening, Seaside Shack, Green Room, Desert, Treasure Room, Evil Playroom, and Ship Cabin with the Green Trinity. I broke Kingdom Hearts again. Recently, I was playing Dream Drop Distance HD and got to the circus fight in Prankster's Paradise. I used the bubble reality shift and exploded an enemy, then, as new enemies spawned, I plummeted below the balance pads. I was only able to record the aftermath because I did not expect this at all. I can get back up if I attack, but the enemies weren't able to reach me, so I probably could have beat them if I spam magic commands. So I don't really know why I set the video up like that. It wasn't a bad setup, but there was some sort of issue with how YouTube structures the video that it just made it weird, so I didn't stick with it, but still trying to figure out some stuff about where to put captions and subscribe stuff and blah blah blah. Did you know some room names are wrong? In Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, some room names in the pause menu don't match the name that's given when you enter said room. In Traverse Town's 2nd District, you can enter what is labeled as Hotel, but when we look at the pause menu, the room is actually called Hallway. Whether we enter the Dalmatian's Den from the alleyway or the piano room from the 2nd District, both will be labeled Dalmatian's House. When leaving Merlin's house, the door reads Exit Mystical House, instead of the correct name of the next room. Just a quick pause. That got cut right there. So if you come in from either one of those rooms, I didn't get cut, but it did. I don't feel like it was explained well enough. If you enter the piano room, it's called the piano room, even though the outside says Dalmatian House. If you enter the Dalmatian's Den, it's called the Dalmatian's Den, even though the game calls it Dalmatian House. So that's what that was. Just Mystical House. To be extra pedantic, if you talk to Merlin, the Magician's Lab is not named. Instead, he asks if you want to practice magic. I don't like this. And he calls the secret waterway the Cavern. In Olympus Coliseum, if we run up to the first door, we're told it's the lobby, but its pause menu name is the Coliseum Lobby. And you can say the colon doesn't make it wrong, but in future games, the pause menu name is the same as the doorway label, so I'm counting it. And that's why I said it was pedantic, because it's really not any different, but it's different, and it's stupid to make that distinction. More wrong room names in Kingdom Hearts 1 HD Final Mix. In Deep Jungle, Jungle::Tunnel is called Tunnel by the next room over, and Jungle::Cliff is called Cliff by both rooms it's connected to. Camp::Tent is labeled Enter Tent, and when exiting Camp Tent to the camp, it instead reads Exit Tent. And Jungle Vines is called Vines by its connected rooms. 90% of Agrabah's mislabeled rooms is the colon issue mentioned in the last video. For instance, Agrabah::Storage is the pause menu name, but the entrance to it just says Storage. This happens with Plaza, Alley, Main Street, Bazaar, Cave::Entrance, and Cave::Hall. But as for genuine misnomers, where the tiger head sits is called desert cave, but when you stand in cave entrance, it's called desert, which is wrong because this is the desert. Also, the mouth entrance is called Cave of Wonders, despite it leading to cave entrance. Even more wrong room names in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Due to the colon issue from the past two videos, pun intended, every Monstro room is technically wrong since they only read the second half of the full room name, unlike in every subsequent game. Atlantica has a genuine error when exiting Tranquil Grotto. The next room is Undersea Valley, except its pause menu name is literally Atlantica, and on top of that, if you enter Calm Depths from this lower area and turn around, Undersea Valley/Atlantica is labeled as Undersea Trench. Also, this room is called Sunken Ship, and you can enter the ship itself, and when we leave, it will be labeled outside of the ship instead of Sunken Ship. Neverland and End of the World are strange because no room entrances are labeled. Room names only appear in the pause menu. I guess you can't be wrong if you never say anything. Did you know Alice had her own Station of Serenity? At least she was planned to in Kingdom Hearts 1, but it got removed and replaced by the Princess of Hearts Station. Speaking of removed content for Kingdom Hearts 1, there's also the Bahamut summon found in the files. Cheat codes can enable the name, but using it just crashes the game. Disney Castle was also at one point playable before being dropped and put in Kingdom Hearts 2. The Crumbling Island was a big empty arena in the End of the World, meant to be the final showdown between Sora and Riku according to the Cage Wiki. Also, at one point MP Cost was visible before casting a spell. This was an early logo design for Kingdom Hearts. There are also some unused Fat Bandit animations, this one with the weird belly thing happening, and this one where it lifts its own belly to jump. Lastly, in the 1.5 remix, there's an unused world icon for Captain Hook's ship. If you want to see more cut content, check out the links in the description. Sure, these are the unused worlds in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 1 was meant to have a Toy Story world, which you can see here in this concept art. Chain of Memories was going to have an Awakening and Deep Jungle world, but both ended up being cut. In 358 over 2 days, Pinocchio was set to have a world in the circus area of the movie, but it got scrapped and reused in Dream Drop Distance. Birth by Sleep was meant to have a Jungle Book world. You can watch a video exploring it in the description. In Dream Drop Distance, Sora was meant to go to Fantasia and Symphony of Sorcery, while Riku explored Fantasia 2000 instead. I'm glad I get rid of this. Kingdom Hearts 3 was meant to have a playable Mysterious Tower, while in the KHVR experience, End of the World was meant to appear. And at one point, the Disney show Gargoyles was considered for becoming a Kingdom Hearts world. Every swear in the Kingdom Hearts series. Axel in the GBA Chain of Memories says, "It's about time you gave me one hell of a show." Maleficent in Birth by Sleep says, "See for yourself all the powers of hell." And Sam in Dream Drop Distance says, "Yeah, well that's a hell of a way to live." You could argue Maleficent doesn't count because she's referring to the place, but it's the same word in a G-rated game, so I'm counting it. Credit to Alco96 on Reddit, post linked in the description. So, I'm fine with the argument that Maleficent doesn't count because it's the place, but like people have been arguing it's just not, those just aren't bad words. It's like, just because it's a super low tier bad word doesn't mean it's not a bad word. If Mickey walks up and says, "Oh, hiya pals, what the hell's going on?" Like that wouldn't happen, right? That's why it's weird. Like it's a curse word. It is a curse word. If your mom would hit you in the mouth for saying it when you were 5, it's a curse word. That's not a good example. But you get what I'm saying. Like it is in fact a curse word, even if it's like the lowest tier curse word on par with damn and ass. It's like, stop saying they're not curse words because they are. Anyway, I hope you had a fun time gaming, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.